wanted to be the first guest ever to bring some props
You brought
to
props.
kind of get people to experience high agency, and then we can define it with words.
All right, cool.
Essentially, for the people that are listening, you have two people trapped on a desert island, identical people, but with two different fundamental frames of reality. One is using the wood to get help. The other is using the wood to kind of escape the island.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of see this idea that two people with exact same fundamental realities, but a completely different, like low agency here, high agency here. So you see high agency in a meme there.
Sunday 30th, 5:59. I got up early today because I need to edit my client's film that needs to go out today. It's just really short, really. It's like, well, it's 24 minutes, but yeah, I'm just gonna edit it and see what I can do. I think I'm gonna go to the zoo with the kids today.
Day Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Day 7. I don't want to be a midwit.
One is called the midwit trap.
It's day 7 of the 90-day challenge, 1% challenge, where I'm taking small incremental steps that will hopefully compound.
So imagine you're in a third world jail and you've got somebody who's in the midwit trap, and you text them, hey, any updates on breaking me out of this jail? This is how the midwit trap would think. Yeah. Lots of updates from me. I'm on day 30 of my juice cleanse. I'm thinking of doing a degree in criminology to specialize in how jails work so I can get you out. And I've also watched 30 TED Talks on the topic. So the midwit trap, I've got a PhD in the midwit trap, is this idea of trying to be smarter than you are, and overcomplicating things. So guy on the left makes something people want. Guy on the right makes something people want when it comes to business. Then in the center, it's, I'm going to do this 5-year consultancy program, and then I'm going to watch all these TED Talks, and then once I've done these surveys, I'm ultimately going to find the thing. So the guy in the midwit trap would never even get moving with any agency towards breaking you out of a third world jail because he's constantly overthinking and trying to intellectualize things too much.
Oh, I listened to this podcast with Chris Williamson and this other guy. Sorry, I can't remember his name. He was really cool though, but they were talking about the whole concept of like, does life happen to you or for you? Now, it's a bit of a controversial one because from personal experience and what I see around me, life happens to everyone. Like in my own family, my older brother, who's a year older than me, one day during New Year's Eve, somebody tried to murder him. Somebody backed their car into him, put him in a coma for nearly over a year, and the guy was done for attempted murder actually, but because of how like the system works or not, because my brother survived, then it was no longer attempted murder. I don't know, but he had to learn how to walk, talk. He still can't really taste anything or it's like smell properly. But he's got really bad brain damage, and I mean, he's quite an angry guy, and unfortunately he's not in a great situation. He's always like hanging around with the wrong crowd, doing things he's not supposed to be doing, but I feel like he doesn't have that mental capacity to make life happen for him.
This is actually the most simple way of defining high agency, is, are they happening to life, or is life happening to them? So what you'll ultimately, anybody who you would call to break you out of a third world jail, you would define as happening to life. The people that you would be least likely to break you out of a third world jail are the ones that life is happening to them. And then once you begin to see that spectrum, it's such a more simple, like Occam's razor of really understanding high agency. And fundamentally, it can be like a nice, okay, this is a cool like self-help concept, but actually agency is bigger than that. Out of the 6 to 7 million species on Earth, human beings are the only ones capable of agency.
Life happened to him and he didn't have that strength and that resilience or the capacity to, from all of his like wounds and traumas, to keep going. So I take it with a pinch of salt because, you know, things have also happened to me, but I've managed to keep going. My washing machine's beeping and it's stressing me out. So obviously an obvious most recent time when life has happened for me is during maternity leave, where I was sitting down on the sofa watching This Morning, didn't want to go back to my job as a copywriter because obviously it was very hard for me. I'm not sure if I have dyslexia, but the whole spelling thing and stuff, I had to like hide my screen when I was using Grammarly from the rest of the team. Luckily, we did work from home quite a lot, so no one saw me like checking to see if I was doing stuff. But anyway, I wanted to really get out of that job. And so I had that drive. I saw this guy on This Morning, this astrologer, and thought, how many followers does he have? I want to get into social media. Let me see. I think I could grow him. He's very charismatic. He's like perfect for social media. Yes, he did indeed only have 14k followers on his Instagram and nothing TikTok, nothing on YouTube. It was either going to be him or Alicia Dixon, because I'd seen that Alicia Dixon at the time only had 15,000 followers on TikTok. So it was like, should I contact her or him? Anyway, first person that I emailed was who I thought was him, ended up being the actual owner of this like huge UK agency that basically, yeah, they're talent agents. They manage most of like the biggest names on UK TV. Just a huge coincidence. I'm not in that industry, so I had no idea who this management was. Maybe if I did, I would be too scared to email them. But anyway, I emailed them and I was very open and honest and said, look, I'm on maternity leave. I'm happy to do this for free. And I'll stress I said free because I knew that they wouldn't have taken me on had I said, like, can you pay me something? But because I was on maternity leave, that was that was of benefit for me. I can't, what's the word? But I had there, that was an opportunity for me, right? And I didn't know when that was going to happen. When would I ever have 3 months off? Yes, of course I had a baby, but when you do things for free, you don't feel that pressure. And they also knew I had a baby, and it was like, let me see if I can grow this account. And yes, of course I did. And they were so happy that they ended up matching my salary. And the guy, my manager now, I'm a freelancer, so I don't know if he's my manager or not, but I guess he's my manager. And the first thing he said to me was like, I know you have your children, like you can work around it. Like, we're really happy with how you're giving us like all the output, the work that you're, producing. But little did they know I was literally waking up at 3 a.m. to get everything done by like 7 a.m. Like, they had no idea that I wasn't sleeping. So they thought that I was able to do all this work when actually to do all that work, I had to work really hard. But anyway, it gave me that out. I got out of that job.
One is using the wood to get help. The other is using the wood to kind of escape the island. Mm-hmm. And you kind of see this idea that two people with exact same fundamental realities, but a completely different, like low agency here, high agency here.
And now I know that I'm in a place where I have time to manage my time, and I don't know when that opportunity is going to come again. And when I was younger, I mentioned yesterday, I worked at this tanning salon. All these like famous people would come in. You had Gwyneth Paltrow, Mel C, the girl that was dating Bradley Cooper. I can't remember her name, but she was in this film, like a music film. But anyway, and other like young kind of it girls were coming into the tanning salon and stuff. And I used to have so much time when I was working there, right? And all the customers would come in the morning or in the evening, and my boss was so nice, and he knew that that was the case, that he said to us, look, if you want to watch a show or a film or whatever during the afternoon, like, go ahead, go for it. And it was only at the end of, I worked there for about 4 years, and it was only at the end, at the last year before it closed down, that I took the opportunity to actually bring in my guitar and my amp. And I would, where they used to do spray tans, I'd go in there and I would like, just write songs and songs and songs. And I just, now reflecting, this is that moment. This is that moment where I have a lot of time and flexibility to jig things round so that I can actually produce content for myself, so that I can, chase my dreams. And these things don't happen all the time. And I genuinely feel that sometimes they come around like once every 3 years, because if I look back, it is really like once every 2 years or 3 years that after trying at something and failing, I need like a good 2 years to like get over it and then try again. And this is now the time for me to try. So the question for you today is, are you a midwit? Don't be a midwit. Try not to be. You've probably listened to lots of stuff. If you're listening today, it's because you're like me and you want to better yourself. And you've probably done a few courses, tried lots of things. You've got some skills under your belt. Even if it's 1 or 2, that's cool. And now it's just about action and taking that red pill. That's how I see it anyway. That's my take on the whole thing. But yes, day 7, Sunday, the 30th of March. I'm going to actually write these things on so that we kind of can keep track of what the days are. But yeah, I'm going to be going to the zoo today. Probably going to have a nap now. It's Mother's Day, so I can do what I like. I didn't know it was Mother's Day, but Rory told me, and he gave me a card. And he's gone to get me a oven lasagna from Waitrose, because it's what I wanted. And yeah, that's day 7. And tonight, let me write that song. Let me not be a midwit. See you guys tomorrow. We're at the zoo.